Warning signs of financial crisis include spending more than you earn, making everyday purchases using credit, making only minimum payments on bills or skipping payments entirely. Saving is inadequate or non-existent. Using cash advances on credit cards to pay other expenses. Getting calls from collectors about overdue payments. And receiving notices about utility disconnection.
Procrastination is always a family's worst enemy, and it happens time and time again. We encounter that quite often. The families will put things off to the very end, and oftentimes the very end meets with a shut-off notice or services being disconnected, such as phone service or gas or electric.
Ignoring financial obligations now can lead to much bigger problems later. Bankruptcy, loss of assets like your home or cars, and a bad credit record, all of which affect your child and the entire family. Being honest and communicating the problem early is crucial.
Generally, I would recommend to families that if they are having trouble meeting some of those expenses or those monthly bills, that either a letter from their child's physician or their child's social worker explaining the circumstances will usually at least buy them some time so that they then can meet their financial obligations, usually without penalty.
They often believe that the utility bills will just go away. And what usually happens is because it's a monthly bill, they just start to accumulate. And then all of a sudden, they're given notice that the services will be terminated, so they often call us in a panic. Parents really need to pay attention to those early bills. Call us immediately. And then if they do forget, as soon as they get home and realize that those bills have been stacking up, call us, let us know. Try to make some arrangements. Let us know about the illnesses. See what services that we can offer to assist you. There are a lot of services available that utilities have, and we'd be more than happy to assist them. But you can't help them if people don't call and tell you that they need the assistance.
When you get that shut-off notice, you take that pretty seriously. My husband just made the phone call, explained what they were doing, or what was going on in our life, and what they did is they took the balance that we owed and they spread it across a 12-month period and basically put us on a budget plan.
The best thing that they could do is contact their lenders or creditors early in the process. If there's going to be any difficulty in meeting a payment, the sooner your lender knows that, the better. If you don't get the answer that you need in terms of getting flexibility, the best thing to do is try to talk to a supervisor or set up a face-to-face meeting where you can personalize the situation as opposed to leaving it be a voice on the phone and creating that distance. And most often you'll find that the collectors are willing to work with a borrower if the story makes sense, if it's an honest story, and it's not so delinquent that there's an inability to be flexible. You'll find most financial institutions are willing to do everything that they can.
I was sending out payment today for this specific bill.
Be sure to stay in continual contact with your creditors and lenders to keep them informed about your situation.
Thank you very much. And who am I speaking with?
Get names and numbers of the individuals you speak with and document the results of your communications. Most importantly, do your best to always pay something on each bill every month.
Utility companies, creditors can be lenient. All they want to do is hear from you, and they would like to see something. I would tell any family that if they have something to send in, it's always better than nothing. It at least shows your attempt to keep up your side of the obligation that you have made with a creditor or a utility company when you signed on.
They will work with you. They will budget with you. They will, as long as you're letting them know, yes, the payment will be there, but it will be 2 weeks late. The main goal is you need to stay afloat. Even if you don't have the energy to make those monthly checks out, make sure someone is for you, because it could be very draining, but you need to keep on top.
There are many resources and services available that provide short and long-term financial assistance to families with a chronically or seriously ill child. Many private organizations offer aid to families, such as disease or disability-related organizations, charitable foundations, civic or social welfare organizations, and churches and community groups. Even if organizations do not provide financial aid themselves, they can often direct you to other kinds of assistance.
We had to have a ramp to be able to get Dylan in and out of the house. I had a contractor give me a price of $5,000. Well, I can't pay $200 to get my tires changed. I surely don't have $5,000 to put a ramp in the house. But we had to have it to get him out the door, to get him on the school bus to go to school. I had contacted one of our social workers at that point because she had told me that there were certain funds that might be able to help us with some of that. And in the end, she found a local civic association who was looking to do a project, and the guys from that group came out here over 2 weekends, built the ramp, had the lumber donated, and they did it all.
A number of government organizations also exist to help make the medical and related care of your child more affordable.
And unfortunately, some families think that in order to be eligible for some kind of assistance, that they really must be at poverty level. And in fact, that's not always the case at all. That there may very well be resources in the community or in federal programs or state programs that many families could be eligible for but may simply not be aware of.
A Medicaid program is accessible in most states, which can supplement the health insurance of a chronically or seriously ill child. To apply, ask your social worker for details, or check the blue pages of your local telephone book to contact your state's Department of Social Services or Department of Human Services. Your family may also qualify for assistance from a number of other government-funded programs, such as Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. Your social worker or case manager can help direct you to organizations and programs that may fit your family's needs. But it is every parent's responsibility to ask questions, research, and persist in obtaining the help your family needs.
Being well informed is always, I think, a way for parents to be empowered, so that it is the parents' responsibility. If they are not receiving the information, they should ask their child's social worker, or they should call their local agencies and inquire very specifically, is there any financial assistance available for families whose child is very ill and they're having difficulty paying their utility bills? Is there any assistance available for families who need help with transportation expenses? And again, sometimes that information may not be forthcoming unless they ask for it.
Doing the research and finding those agencies, those funds, those foundations that will help you out is very important. I found most of them through other families. I belong to an internet support group for parents of children with spina bifida. And when you talk to somebody who's been down the road a few steps ahead of you, they know a lot of the avenues.
We talk to the social worker, and there's wonderful organizations out there that are willing to pay an electric bill, willing to help you out with a part of your rent or mortgage. There is help. You just have to ask and put aside your pride and ask.
Unfortunately, many families have difficulty putting aside pride and admitting they need help.
We didn't really feel comfortable calling people and whining about, what had happened and asking for help. That was really hard. It's still hard. What has happened is sometimes we've gotten in a situation where there was no way that we could provide for something that Candace needed on our own, so we had to ask for help.
It's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, is to ask for help. But you have to do it. Putting aside that pride that, at this time you can't do it on your own. You have to ask for help.
I've had to go to family and friends to borrow money for electric bills, for food, for gas. You will either become ashamed or you become humble. And it's humbled me.
Accept the financial help offered by family and friends. Not only will it assist your family, but it usually makes those who offer feel better to do something that helps.
Even the most independent, self-reliant families who have always managed on their own need help in these circumstances. And you're only going to ask for it for as long as you need it. You just need help temporarily to get over the hump. And you will be independent and you will be self-reliant again. But very few people can get through a catastrophic illness without needing help in some arenas.
Families can also take advantage of free financial advice and support offered by national agencies like the Consumer Credit Counseling Service. The CCCS provides certified financial counselors who help families examine their financial picture and overcome debt.
We will negotiate with their creditors, if there be 6 or 9 or 12 of them, trying to get them lower payment possibilities, reduced interest rates, perhaps forgiveness of late charges and penalty charges. We give them the option, if they want to sign up into a formal debt management program, they will be required to send 1 payment a month at those agreed upon amounts at a lower level to our office. We will then prorate and disperse those payments to the creditors. The creditors like it because they win. They get paid. The client likes it because they can pay their bills at a reduced rate and get them paid over time.
The key to ensuring financial stability is learning how to reduce your expenses by making lifestyle changes.
Families do find sometimes having to make lifestyle adjustments difficult. It is one of the trying parts of an illness, that not only do they face the fact that their child has a serious illness, but sometimes they're asked to give up some other parts of their lives because they simply can't afford it.
Make a list of your monthly spending and match it against your income. Determine which expenses are unnecessary and eliminate them.
We have to look at where the priorities are. And the priorities anytime you have a child with chronic illness is to make sure that they're warm, that they have electric, that they have some way of contacting the medical provider in case of an emergency.
Little things like taking my older daughter to lunch or dinner once a month, maybe going out to a movie. It's just not in the budget anymore. Everything now, all my resources are pooled directly into my home, paying my mortgage, trying to keep utilities on.
Other helpful tips to increase savings and lower debt are: avoid impulse buying. Cut out luxuries such as cable television, dining out, and expensive telephone services. Clip coupons. Purchase generic products and prescriptions whenever possible. And lastly, strive to use cash instead of credit.
It's going to be a whole new experience in their lives. And there just simply isn't enough you can do, but you've got to make the start. And that's the beginning of it. And begin to learn what you have and what you have available to you in terms of financial resources and what you can do and what you're going to need help to do. But do it early is the best advice of all.
What happened to us is that 3 years later, we're trying to purchase a new home and our credit is so bad that we're having a hard time trying to do that. So, and back then we weren't even thinking ahead this far, but it really does affect the rest of your life.
Financial management is within reach for families with a chronically ill or seriously disabled child. By acting early, asking questions, and learning how to find and accept help, you can protect your family's future.